Omer Kahin, welcome to the Honest Report podcast.
Thank you very much of having me, Robert. Thank you very much. I do appreciate your invitation.
So, of course, you're the CEO of Comeback Financial Group. You're an accountant. You're the director of the Canadian Somaliland community. You're also the leader of a group called Community Catalyst in Action Ontario. So you're a very, very busy guy, and we're appreciative of your time. As you know, of course, Israel and Somaliland established diplomatic ties on December 26th of this past year. And it's been a long way coming. We've certainly heard rumblings about this for some time. But for those who are unfamiliar with certainly the recent history of Somaliland, help us understand a little bit where this is coming from.
Yes, thank you very much again, Robert. Somaliland is basically a beautiful country with a beautiful people, a population of 6.2 million anyway, predominantly modern Muslims anyway, in that part of the world. We are basically located in the north of Gulf of Aden. So basically we are along the Gulf of Aden, to the north, and basically Ethiopia to the south, Somalia to the east, and Djibouti is northwest Somaliland. So we are located at a very strategic place in the Horn of Africa, basically very rich with a lot of minerals. We have, gas and oil. We have minerals. We have good livestock. So we are a great nation, and been there for quite a while. Actually, looking for recognition for 35 years. Somaliland is basically was under the British colony, British Somaliland Protectorate, and we have got the independence from the Great Britain in 1960, and unfortunately, in about 5 days, we have united with Somalia, and that was a disaster anyway. So that's a Somaliland history and a brief history anyway for information.
So as I mentioned, certainly the ties were established late last year. Tell us a little bit about some of the more quiet relations that have been happening in recent years that helped bring about this announcement.
Yes, thank you very much. Robert, Somaliland Israel was the first country which basically recognized Somaliland in 1960. It was the first country. When we got the independence from the British, Israel basically recognized Somaliland for the first time. Okay, that was about 65 years ago. And now, in 2025, again, Israel basically recognized Somaliland again. And we are very grateful and appreciate that recognition after 35 years of looking to be recognized. Israel finally recognized Somaliland. So there's too much historical ties between Israel and Somaliland. We have a similar, basic history. Okay, because Somaliland has been under the genocide by South Somalia. And the Israel has also suffered a great deal of atrocity and genocide. So there were relationship. There's a historic relationship between Israel and Somaliland. And finally, like last year, Israel basically recognized Somaliland.
So it's perhaps one of the most remarkable things is that Somalia, of course, directly neighboring Somaliland, is almost like a shorthand for an unstable country. And yet, Somalia has widespread relations with the world. And yet, Somaliland, which is a liberal democratic state, has peaceful transitions of power and so on, Israel's the first country and thus far the only country to recognize it. Help us understand a little bit this distinction. It's remarkable.
Yes, Somaliland basically has a permanent population, defined territory, a government, and capacity for a foreign relationship anyway. So we have everything that a country needs to be recognized. We have basically fulfilled all the requirements to be in statehood anyway. Basically, we have a constitution, we have a permanent population, we have a defined territory, we have a government. Fortunately, we have a capacity to enter relationships with international world. So Somaliland It's a great nation. It's a beacon of democracy in an area where a lot of bad actors operates anyway in our area, like Israel. We have got a lot of bad guys around us anyway. Shabab, Somalia, Eritrea, which has, all these actors in the area are bad, but we are in a place marked by, war, Shabab, terrorism, piracy. But in all those, problems, we managed to basically establish a democratic country, a constitution, rule of law, and basically, we have got our own currency, a government, what have you. So we have done a great job for the last 35 years.
So you touched on, of course, that the United Nations has a number of definitions of what constitutes a state, and Somaliland reaches all of that. And yet, as I mentioned earlier, Israel is so far the only country to recognize it. What do you attribute this kind of knee-jerk opposition to recognition? I mean, we mentioned that the president of Turkey, Erdogan, appears violently opposed to it. I mean, where does this come from?
Yeah, because there's a myth by African Union policy on territorial integrity, which really rubbish. You know, they're talking about risk of, destabilizing Somalia, which is already not stable anyway, and Mogadishu. They're talking about the jihadist exploitations. So these are excuses by the African Union not to recognize Somaliland. And of course, Turkey is going to expand Somalia. Actually, Turkey take over Somalia anyway. So there's a geopolitical, campaign, and Turkey basically want to take over the whole Somalia. So there are struggle between the powers now in Somalia. So therefore, Turkeys, they don't want Israel to come to Somaliland, because if they do, it's a close proximity to the Bab el-Mandeb. So Bab el-Mandeb is a very critical place, if you're aware of. Anyway, Bab el-Mandeb basically connects, the Red Sea, the Indian Ocean, Suez Canal, and all the way down to Mediterranean. Okay, so that's a very important area, and it's so fundamental anyway for Israel and the United States basically to come to Somaliland and recognize Somaliland, so that they can be closer, very closer, basically to the Houthi control in Yemen, which is very close to Bab el-Mandeb. The Bab el-Mandeb is a very critical place and important for Israel, and of course for the United States anyway, because that 20-mile passage is very important because Houthis are trying to basically attack to Israeli vessels in the area, and now they have expanded to even Western shipping companies. Okay, so that is a target only 20 miles. So therefore, Israel needs to come to the area basically, and the Americans to defend the Red Sea, because that's the critical area of the world.
Omer, you touched on a lot of parallels between Israel and Somaliland. They're both stable democratic countries, surrounded by less stable neighbors. What are you looking to provide Israel in this relationship, and what is Somaliland looking to get in return?
Yeah, this relationship, Robert, is going to be a win-win relationship, because Israel basically will come very close to the Houthi-controlled Yemen, very critical. That will offer Israel an intelligence that they need to the Red Sea area. Okay, they will do what they call a counter Iranian influence instead, because Iranians are there, because Iranian proxy Houthis are there. So it's very critical for Israel. And you're talking about the Turkey now, the balance of power. Basically, Turkey expansion to Somalia is critical, because Turkeys are coming to Somalia, by the way. So to have that kind of relation with Somaliland is critical for Israel. It's actually in the national interest of Israel to come to Somaliland. And of course, Somalilanders, okay, we have a great land. We have a lot of resources, as I told you before. We have minerals, we have gold, we have livestock, and we need an investment. We need Israel and the United States to come to Somaliland and invest. We want them to come, with their corporations, because we have a great land. We have a very rich land. Somalia is very rich land. Somaliland, I'm sorry, it's a very rich land in terms of all these natural resources. So this particular agreement between Israel and Somaliland It's very important for both of us. And eventually, it's going to be a win-win situation. And hopefully, my president will come to Israel to basically join the Israel Accord. So therefore, we can basically complete the agreement.
Yeah, I saw that the president of Somaliland is expected to visit Israel soon. Do you have any schedule or anticipation when that's expected?
I'm not sure about the date, I hope that he will be coming very soon to complete the agreement anyway and sign the Abraham Accord.
Now, of course, with Somaliland on the radar for so many people for the first time, are people able to book a ticket? Can they go visit for themselves? Can they see what the country is like?
Yeah, Robert. So that city has been destroyed completely. In 1988, basically, the aircrafts were flying from the airport and bombing the city. Right away. The same city, and basically, that city was flattened. Even it's a capital of Somaliland right now has been completely devastated. By Siad Barre forces, but we built from scratch, and now it is a city. It's a beautiful city right now, peaceful, and people in Somaliland love, absolutely Israel and the West. So they would like to welcome everybody, to Somaliland. It's a beautiful city, and look at the Berbera, the city, the coastal city, very strategic place, beautiful beach anyway in Berbera. So Somaliland is a beacon of democracy in the Horn of Africa, and I hope that the investors will basically come and invest, especially the Israeli investors, and even the Israeli, and the Jewish, members and politicians will visit Somaliland, because we are very excited to and looking forward to see you guys and welcome you, and basically appreciate you very much.
You talked about investments. What type of investments is Somaliland seeking from Israel and from the West?
Yeah, in the area of energy, for example, we need Israel. You guys, we need Israel. Renovation. I'm sorry, innovations. Innovation, technology, very critical. Agriculture. We have a dry land. Somaliland is kind of a semi desert, so therefore we need that drip irrigation. And we need to basically invest a lot to the agriculture. And I know the Israelis have got a lot of experts in agriculture, and of course the water. We need, we have a lot of water, but we need an expertise to come there to assist us to really set that up, water area, the energy, the renewable energy, and the solar system. Basically, we need that, very critical. And I know that technology is in Israel, by the way. So we need an energy independence, very important energy, and it's so important for us. We have a livestock, in Somaliland. So we have the land and the resources, and Israel has the technology and innovation. So you're talking about win-win situation, Robert.
Omer Kahin, thank you so much for your time today and for really helping us understand a picture that surely we're very unfamiliar with. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for having me, Robert. I hope, and I hope I'm going to understand you and your audience to understand that Somaliland is open for business, and we're looking forward to see you. Thank you very much, and God bless you. And I do appreciate the opportunity for you to give it to me to be on to talk to you today.